Howdy everyone, this is MacLeod, this is the Asgaard SMP, and welcome back to episode number 8, and I hope you enjoyed that time-lapse at the beginning, because this is what we have to show for it. Holy cow, I actually ran out of grass, and we gotta wait for a lot of this dirt to finish off here, but let's go ahead and slap on my armor. Try to do this in third person there. There we go. Between episodes, yeah, I got this time-lapse done, another 6.5 hours of building, just placing blocks, but this is going to be so sweet once the grass is done growing through there. And if you notice from last episode, the shaders actually look just slightly different. I did upgrade to version 5 of the complementary shaders, so it looks just a little bit different. So if that's throwing you off, I apologize for that. But along with that, I actually added a couple other things that I think look pretty cool. If I go ahead and open my inventory here, first off, I have so many extra blocks still from placing this big rock, but you'll notice the background is all blurred out, which with the way Minecraft is designed now, that feels like it should be part of the game anyway, but I did actually have to add a mod for that, so looks pretty cool. I think maybe loses a little bit, like if a creeper's coming at me, you know, it might be a little bit hard to see because it is blurred out, so you do lose a little bit of that peripheral. But like I said, they've kind of got this whole like glassy kind of blurred thing going on in recent updates, and that mod just kind of helps the continuity there. Along with that, let's see if I can find a mob. If we look at the model of the sheep and how it's walking there, it's a little bit more like fluid, I guess you could say. So Fresh Animations mod is also installed and makes the mobs look just a little bit more lifelike. And I don't do a ton of stuff with mobs, but you know, when I am around them, I think that that just makes it feel all that, and we're in a hole. Makes it feel all that much more alive. So we have a rock, and today we've got some stuff to do with that rock. And of course, I do want to see the top get all turned into grass there. But first off, we're going to need a lot of copper, because I've got some pretty cool inspiration for what this big rock could actually kind of relate to within other games that I have played in the past. And after sitting AFK for a little bit, we've got pretty much all of the grass grown here. There are a few bits missing, and I think that's just because they're landlocked, like they're completely surrounded in moss there, so I'll have to come through and replace those manually. No big deal there though. But what I wanted to relate this to is the monolith from Clash of Clans. If you take a look at the picture that is on the screen now, you'll see that it is actually floating within a hole, just as this big boulder is here, and it is tied down with some chains as if it was just going to float away, and that is the same kind of style that I want to use here. So we're going to use that as some inspiration and try to build some big old chains. So that's what we're going to need the copper for. This is going to be another big project on top of one that's already huge. So yeah, this is going to be crazy. I don't know if we'll get these all done, if maybe I'll just do one today and just kind of get a feel for it and then do the others at other times. But obviously this episode has already taken quite some time, and I'm literally just starting the actual recording with my voice outside of the time lapse. So anyway, let's go ahead and go cracking with that, and let's see how this is going to turn out. Oh my, that took quite a bit longer than I expected it to. And hey, look at that. We've got a skeleton wandering around. I have been getting bombarded by mobs over here. Nothing is lit up, and we just have a big shadow casting on this thing here. But look at all the blocks that have gone into this. Now the copper was really not an issue. I did just have to smelt up a bunch of that, but that didn't really take too long. What was the problem, however, was the gold, because I didn't really have a whole lot of that or a good way to accrue a lot of it. So I was running around in the nether and getting as much gold ore from there as I could, which of course drops as nuggets, which needed to be crafted into ingots, which could then be crafted into blocks. And oh boy, did I use a lot of blocks here. I also found one block in a bastion, which I guess was helpful as well. But I think if we go here to statistics, and then we go to items, 1487 nether gold ore. Yeah, that's a lot. We did so much. Not nearly as much as some of the other blocks, but if we go to times used, maybe, so 121 times crafted times probably times used, because I had some of the blocks already from loot. So yeah, about 150 blocks, and this is just one of the chains that's going to be holding this thing down here. We of course are going to have 3 more, because right now it would just kind of like flip over and look like a balloon floating in the sky there, and that's not what we're looking for. Now of course we are also waiting on the copper to start aging there, and we're not going to leave it as the green. We're going to come through here and make it either weathered or is slightly weathered the other option. I don't know. The 2 middle options are what we're going to go for, but I don't have any wax so that I can come through and preserve that state, which means that we're probably going to have to do something for that. But I think the first thing that we want to do is figure out how we can get a whole lot more gold. Option 1. Nope. Option 2. Nope. Of course, I wanted to build it out of these blocks, but that just didn't seem to look right, and it was a little too bright. How much of this do we have? Wow. Option 3? That's not going to get us very far either. Okay. All right, well, if there was a lot there, I absolutely would have paid it back more than what I had borrowed to begin with. But either way, I think you know what that means. We're going to have to do this the hard way and really earn that gold. I have made a hole now to the left of the main portal, coming up here, up this staircase. Let's see if I can just do it with the rocket, maybe? No? Okay, well, I guess we're just gonna go up anyway. Then this took a few tries. Apparently, the mechanism to break through bedrock is directional as far as I can tell. I tried it about 10 or 12 times just on its own, like in the direction that I had initially placed it, and I had no luck. I rotated it 90 degrees and it instantly worked. So that might be a thing, but anyway, we can get up here now, so that's pretty cool. We'll probably end up moving all of the portals up here in a little while, but we have one more torch way out there, so obviously this is where we can get through. But if we come on over here, it's just about 100 blocks, we can go ahead and place down the first of the resources that we are going to need for the farm here. So if we go ahead and look at this, we have 3 shulker boxes filled with magma blocks, which means that we can build a pretty decently sized farm from this. Now we are of course going to need a few other things as well, but we might as well start by, at least now that we have all of these, placing some circles and getting some platforms in so that we can build a proper gold farm. What is this level of side-eye? This is unmatched. You're just looking at me the whole time. Oh, this is freaky. What? And real quick important note here, I almost ended up building it in the wrong biome. Zombie pigmen do not spawn in the Soul Sand Valley where I was originally going to put it, which is like right where that first torch is, right there. So I just ended up having to move it back another 100 blocks and we are good to go. So there's your first layer. We can actually look up there and see some of the zombie piglins, and we have the first platform in here with the hole. So we have brought over some eggs that are from turtles, and that is the wrong one. Here we go. So then we can set up the trapdoors and we can pop in a turtle egg and they will pathfind to that and then drop down right there. I could probably also modify it so that I sit in the middle, anger one of the piglins, and then make it an XP farm as well. And I might do that because we do not have an Enderman farm yet. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and do these other 10 layers and then kind of decide what I want to do for the killing chamber. And let's come back when that's all done. So this is working very well. I ended up just going with the 10 platforms and disregarding the idea of making it possibly like an AFK hybrid farm. I think that would have been just a lot more complex, and this farm is insane, even though I considered adding more layers on top of it. If we actually hit this here, and there we go. So my player is up here, right? Zoom's working backward. There we go. So we're up there, which means that this is the spawning sphere. And what's really important about this is that there is no other place for piglins to spawn. And if I come to the bottom of the sphere here, it just barely clips the bedrock, and then it's all solid blocks beneath it. So the only place the piglins can spawn is in the farm, which does maximize how much is going to spawn in there. But I think if I would have added more layers, or even possibly like stacked multiple farms in here, we could have had even more spawns. I'm not quite sure exactly how that works, but this is already insane. I am already overflowing on storage, and I just popped up here again, so I have cleared this out already, so it's not happening at the moment, but after just a little while this entire thing is going to fill up, and then all the drops are just going to start piling on top of the farm, which means that I probably should have done a little bit better job at the storage system. I did kind of keep it pretty simple here, but I could have built it in like modules and then like sorted out each column individually so that we would have multiple of those going on at one time, because that is the bottleneck, how fast that can go. But like, look at this. I mean, this is absolutely dumping them out. I have no worries about how much gold this is actually going to give us. So yeah, this is crazy. If we come over here, we have almost 3 rows, and I've already taken 5 stacks of blocks out of here to put towards the chains, and that was over about a day-ish of being AFK. And if I go ahead and climb up here now, let's take a look at what the redstone looks like. So first off, we have the collection area at the top here, and apparently one random nugget's gone flying. Might have to do something about that. We'll see. I do eventually want to build a building around this, but not today because I do have some ideas, but it's going to be pretty crazy if I encapsulate this entire thing inside of a building after all of the building that we've already done today. But anyway, this comes on in here. This first item sorter here is for gold nuggets. You can see that working right now. That comes off into this here crafter, and you can see that filling up, producing an ingot, and then passing it on. And it knows when to fire because of this one over here being full, and then we're just grabbing that signal and saying when there's 9 items in there, go ahead and send a pulse. So it crafts up that ingot and then sends it off into this one. Now I'm not quite sure if ingots can actually drop randomly when piglins die on their own, or if they have to be aggravated by a player in order for them to drop that, but I put that item sorter in there just in case. Didn't want to have any mishaps there, so that comes on in, meets up with the ingots that are coming out of this crafter. They all go into this crafter, and you can see that fills up 9 times slower than the one to the left, but every time that pulses we get another one in here, and then as that's going to fill up, we are going to get gold blocks that get pumped off into this system and sent into the storage. So we should get one more ingot here and then one last ingot, and that's going to give us a gold block. There it is. Cool. So then that comes on through here, and it just fills top to bottom and left to right. So like I said, pretty sweet. And we've been putting these blocks toward building the chains. We still have a lot of chain to build, not gonna lie. I've been doing that off camera, just kind of here and there. But yeah, I want to do a little bit more with this gold first, because what's good with a gold farm, we also have all the rotted flesh kind of spitting out at the end here. But anyway, what is good about a gold farm if you can't actually put the gold to use for its best case scenario, which is to trade with, and down I go, with the regular piglins. So obviously zombified piglins are falling from here, and regular piglins are the ones that can trade. The first step is to figure out how to get those piglins up here. And so there is Mach 1 for the piglin bartering farm. If we go ahead and pop up here, we can see just what's going on. Now this took a while to get together. This was pretty tedious. It wasn't necessarily hard, but I first had to build a big platform here and let these guys spawn, then filter out just the ones that had crossbows, sit in a boat with them and wait for their crossbow to break. That probably was not necessary, but I did think it would look pretty cool if they were not holding weapons in here, and I do think that is a pretty cool appeal here. They did end up actually holding items from the farm, as this just kind of backed up here, and like if this would like fill up and was sending items through to the chest at the end here, they would kind of pile up on top, and then they could pick up items there. So I guess it's not foolproof in that manner. Now they're just going to have items, which is totally fine, I guess. But yeah, there are definitely some things we need to change about this, but I have run out of time for today. If we want to go ahead and see this in motion though, we have a hopper clock at the end here, which we can flip on, and then just toggles this copper bulb at just the right pace, so that as soon as these piglins are done with the previous nugget, they grab the next nugget, and it's not random. They all work at exactly the same pace. It's like 6.05 seconds or something like that. I think it's like, because I think it's 6 seconds plus a 20th of a second or plus 1 tick. So that is pretty solid. The timing is absolutely just right. And if you're going to build this on your own, I have just 5 items in here, and then it's toggling with that copper bulb there. So pretty cool. I can go ahead and turn this back off, and we will see all of these items filtering on through here. We got some gravel, we got some blackstone, lots of cool stuff that we are absolutely going to need. Definitely not going to need the iron boots, but the blackstone will absolutely be helpful. The gravel might actually be helpful. The nether brick as well, but the crying obsidian is primarily what we're looking for, and I might even need to use the nether quartz. We'll see about that. I'm not entirely sure, but we will be making changes to this in the next episode because it's not perfect yet. I think I want to have this come through and just donate nuggets straight out of, or ingots rather, straight out of the farm here and back over here, so we can just kind of flip a switch and just go sit AFK, and then this will just kind of feed that instead of having to constantly just grab items and put them over here. And if I'm going to do that, I probably want a multiple of 2, or a power of 2 rather, over here, so that we can just kind of keep splitting everything that comes out and just randomly plonking it in each one, so that they do have enough quantity to keep on trading here. And I did also mention earlier that I wasn't sure if ingots could actually come out of the farm or not. It's only if they're aggravated at the player, and since I decided not to make this a player aggravated farm, this column is actually useless, so I am going to end up tearing that out And I might be able to slide this over. We'll see. I might just leave it there. It's not really doing any harm, I guess, is it? Especially if we need to feed the nuggets, or the ingots rather, out. We'll have to do some tricky wiring. But yeah, like I said, I am out of time for today. I have spent so much time getting this all set up, and I know we did not finish the chains, but I have been working on that in the background. So next episode, when we come back, some of those will be done, or possibly all of them. We'll see. I haven't quite decided yet. But yeah, lots to do still. So anyway, hopefully y'all have enjoyed. Go ahead and subscribe for more, and I'll see y'all next time.